It feels so good to be back. Hey, that's an Usher reference. If you know that Usher reference, man, comment that below in the comment section. I'll shout you out on my next video, cause that's one of them ones. But I'm really feeling good to be back. It's been a minute, man. I've had a lot in my life going on. Moving into a new house. We ain't even have Wi-Fi because of the internet company, so that was a whole debacle. So been kind of away dealing with some family issues or just stuff going on. But we're gonna talk about some of this basketball tonight. We had the draft lottery, which was a good outcome in my opinion. And then, boy, we had a really good. This Western Conference Finals has been good so far, with the Clippers and the Suns, but a really good game too. So we're gonna dive into that. But first, I want to get going talking about the NBA lottery first, because that happened first in Detroit basketball. They get the #1 pick in the draft. I'm excited because Detroit, man, they've hit the playoffs a little bit in the last few years here and there. But for the most part, they haven't had a lot of team success. And then you also look at it when they get into the lottery, they don't really have a lot of lottery success either. So getting the #1 pick when they've had years of like getting 8, 7, 8, 9, like they teetered around that back end of the top 10 for some years. So it was like they were getting like Stanley Johnson, they got KCP. So they weren't able to really acquire a lot of talent through the draft. So this is really exciting for the Detroit Pistons. Like they get Killian Hayes last year, which I thought with the 7th pick, which was really exciting. So now you come back this year and you get the #1 pick, and they had a lot of good young guys last year. You're talking about Isaiah Stewart, Sadiq Bey. Those guys were both on all rookie teams, and then you still had Killian Hayes, who was out because of a hip injury, so he didn't even play most of the season. So they getting Cade Cunningham, like one of those, what we see is kind of a can't miss prospect. This is huge for them, and I'm really excited to see what Detroit is going to do with this #1 pick. We already know they're going Cade Cunningham, but just to be able to know they're going to get Cade Cunningham and kind of what the future looks like for their team, man, this is exciting. Like, I'm excited for Detroit. That was big time in my opinion for them. The draft lottery, another thing, I'm kind of excited. At least I'm glad to see the Warriors got that pick from the Timberwolves, because I mean, Timberwolves, they got #1 pick last year. I didn't really feel like they needed another lottery pick. It's been too many lottery picks for them. Like, they traded it for a reason, and now it's kind of like, okay, here we go. Give the Warriors a pick. Let's see what they're going to do with it. So for them to have 2 lottery picks, you got to see what kind of moves that they're going to make in the offseason. Houston Rockets, they get the 2nd pick. I'm going to do mock draft projection draft video about all of these, like, the picks and kind of who I feel like belongs on which team now that the lottery has conveyed. And I'm going to go into that. But Houston gets 2. Cleveland Cavaliers, they get 3. They get another top pick to work with. And then the Raptors, they get 4. I was kind of surprised that the Raptors got into the top 4. I kind of thought that once it was the top 4 and they went to commercial, I'm thinking in my head it was going to be Cavs, Toronto, and then it was kind of a toss-up between Houston and Detroit. I was kind of crossing my fingers for Detroit, and they got it done, so super excited for them. This is a loaded, definitely, I feel like this is a loaded draft in general, but the top of the draft is definitely got a lot of talent. You got Evan Mobley, Jalen Green, Jalen Suggs, Jonathan Kuminga, Davion Mitchell. Like, this is going to be a good class of guys that are going to come in after we've seen kind of the NBA draft prospects from last year, and them not really having a lot of, so they didn't have summer league. They didn't really have a lot of time to prepare. And those guys really stepped in and played meaningful basketball this year. So I kind of see the same thing with these draft prospects that are coming in. So I'm really excited for this draft and what it can kind of be come July. Like, I'm excited to see. I like the lineup of how the picks kind of conveyed for all the teams in there. There was some winners and some losers in there, obviously, but all around, very good draft. Um, but now, this was a really good game tonight. Um, I'm gonna dive into it because it's like a lot of pieces to this game, and man, the Western Conference Finals is kind of living up. Like people talk about the star power not really being there. Kawhi's out, Chris Paul's out, but the first two games at Phoenix have not been disappointing, except for me. It's been a little disappointing because I'm going for the Clippers. I want to see them in the finals, so I wanted to see them kind of squeeze out at least one game, and this was the perfect one to squeeze out. Like perfect game to just take and steal. And from the Phoenix Suns, it would like they needed to at least have one tied 1-1 series going back into LA, and they just haven't had it. So in this situation, in this game, it remained close the whole time. Like this was a back and forth game the whole entire game. But the thing about it is it's a game of runs. The Clippers never made a run in this game. They never had a 7-0, 10-0, 12-2 run. You know, they had a little run in the beginning of the game, but that didn't really hold. That was going, it was always going in Phoenix favor the whole game. Every quarter, Phoenix led at the end of it. But it was always close. It was like 1 point game at the half. So it was like, it was like 3 points or 4 points at the end of the third quarter. So you're looking at the game. LA, they shot way better from three than the Phoenix Suns did. They just couldn't get stops. They let Cameron Payne get to the rim at ease, at will. He had 29 points. Like Paul George is like playing him really is clearly closing up all the space on him way past the 3-point line, and he's just darting past them every time. He's darting past every defender that they put on him. The only time they really stopped him is closer to the end of the game when he drove off of pick and roll, and then Zubac switched on him and got a block, and that led to Paul George getting the lead for them on the other end. So that's my issue with the Clippers. They play great defense. Phoenix scored when they needed to. They always would cut the gap to like 3. Phoenix would hit and get a bucket. Phoenix would get 2 buckets. And they would also get stops on the defensive end. The Clippers play good defense, but you have to capitalize. You have to make runs. Like I'm just looking at the game. I'm watching it. The fourth quarter, I'm thinking, when are they going to make this run? They need a run. I'm looking at 8 minutes left. It's like 3-point game. You got to make a run. You got to get a run, especially on the road. You got to get yourself 5-7 points, without the other team scoring, so that you can take the lead and keep it. Because once they did get the lead off of the Paul George in transition layup bucket, which was tough, it was a 1-point lead. They come down, they get another good stop with, I believe, Devin Booker fouling Patrick Beverly or knocking it out. One of the two. It was it was a lot that was going on in the game, and we're gonna get to that part. But you have to seal the deal right there. Like Paul George goes to the line, he misses 2 key free throws. I feel like the second one he was trying to miss, which I don't really understand, because at the end that really bit them. Him missing both of the free throws. You got to make the first one for sure. That was kind of just a blunder. In a night where Paul George and Devin Booker both struggled to score. Now, Devin Booker and Paul George kind of started to step it up at the end of the game when their team needed them the most. But it was the others, like Phoenix others get Cameron Payne giving you 29. You have Cam Johnson giving you like 11, and he hit a big 3 in the fourth quarter. Then Deandre Ayton, their star big man is eating down low. He's really being a beast in this series. Zubac can't guard him. They know that, and they're attacking it every time. And he's been hella efficient, man. Like lobs. He had the game-winning lob. So it's just, man, shout out DeAndre Ayton, though, because he's been playing really big time in this series. Throughout all the playoffs, he's really shown up. But in this game, he really proved to be a problem, and the Clippers didn't have an answer for that. Now to late game. Man, so many stoppages. Kind of necessary, but then unnecessary. The Clippers hurt themselves trying to get a stoppage with 8, 9 seconds left. You ask for a review on a play when you should have just let it go, and maybe the game is different for them. But they gotta stop slowing the game down so much at the end. I mean, we understand it, but at the same time, like, man, can we please get some more fluent basketball at the end? That's all I'm asking for, NBA. I understand the rest want to make the right call, but at the end of it, I'm like, okay, it's only gonna be about 0.6, 0.7 seconds left on the clock. They ended up putting 0.7 on the clock, and we have to wait like 5 minutes for a play to happen where it was a full court heave, and the Clippers don't even get a shot off. So it's like those little things. It's like, yeah, we understand they're trying to get everything right and make sure that the refs are doing their job, but man, we got to speed it up a little bit, man. Come on, because that was just kind of like it was just unnecessary at the end of the game. But man, it's been a really exciting game. Like I said, I'm ready. I still believe in the Clippers because at the end of it, they kept the game close. They haven't been able to kind of seal the deal on the 2 games in Phoenix. They could have stole either one of them. Both games could have went either way. I think it just comes down to the others. The bench points for the Suns have been really good. Cam Johnson came off the bench, gave them a lot. Cameron Payne, who's usually a bench player, started in the role for Chris Paul, came out and gave him 29. Jay Crowder played great. He made a lot of gritty plays. So I think it comes down to the others, and they just couldn't seal the deal, couldn't get a run. But I believe that it'll be a flip side to that when they go back home for Game 3. So I'm expecting a lot of adjustments. Ty Lue's going to make them. He's been the king of adjustments in this playoffs. That's why the Clippers have been where they're at. So maybe this is good for the Clippers. 0-2 again. I mean, who knows? I feel like that luck's going to run out soon. But we'll see. I'm excited for it. I'm going to come back with my Eastern Conference preview tomorrow because I'm super excited for the Eastern Conference Finals. The Hawks made it. We know the Bucks are there. So that's going to be kind of like an unexpected little Eastern Conference Finals, but I'm excited for it as well. So I'm going to make a video about that tomorrow. So you guys will see me. I love y'all. I'm back. Consistent plays in the building, man. I'm fully back. I'm officially back on my grind with the podcast and the in the clutch videos, because I had to come in the clutch with this video. This was an exciting game. We got some interesting news with the draft lottery tonight, so I had to hit y'all in the head with this banger. I'll see y'all tomorrow. Peace.